Neonic Void Productions presents.
Well, howdy, welcome to Spookocalypse. I'm your host, Z. I'm one of your hosts, Zio, and today I'm joined with Bunyip and Housekeeper. I don't know what the hell this accent is, but we're gonna go with it. Yeah. So how y'all doing?
So we're all from the South, and
Yeah.
I grew up with an Arkansas accent, but because I was inspired by Genie from Aladdin doing all those voices, I did so many voices that my accent changes all the time. I don't even recognize it. I don't remember what my original voice sounded like.
Well, unfortunately for me, I was born in Florida, and I don't. Well, I sound like I lost brain cells, so. Because Florida is not the greatest state in the nation to live in, to be grow up in. Granted, I was born there and lived the first 4 years of my life, and then I left. But you know,
oh my God, you're one of them Florida man.
Yes, I'm born and bred. I'm a breaded. I was conceived in Florida and born.
Born in cornbread or beer bread, whatever your perfect bread is.
You can find. I think it's crocodiles, right? No. Yes.
I think it's gators.
I think
Gators?
Yeah, it's gators.
Gators? Well, you'll find gators in your backyard. Like that's not an unheard of thing, depending on what part of Florida you're in. Especially if you're like around the Everglades area, it's a daily occurrence. So, shit's crazy down there. But yeah, I was unfortunately born there, and that accent down there is I don't know what kind of accent that is. Backwoods hillbilly. I don't fucking know, but we ain't gonna worry about that.
I got that accent from like other family members and stuff, but like this is the accent, the one that I'm talking with now, the one that like how you normally hear me as. I consider that my normal accent now. And apparently to other people who are not from Texas, or from like more of the like actual southern states, like they touch Mexico southern states, they say that I sound like I am Hispanic, that I have spoken Spanish my entire life. And I'm like, oh, you are far from the truth.
I don't know what they're smoking, but you know,
Well,
must be the good stuff.
I mean, but you also grew up here, so you also picked up like, I don't know.
Yes, and not really, because majority of people down here, for the most part, like the city folk, have the Midwestern accent, which is like the base accent, the base American accent that everyone outside the United States knows of.
But I also have mannerisms that are not Midwestern. I do like a lot of, like, if you hang out with, why are there so many people showing up to this fucking house?
What house?
My fucking.
Oh, we're about to spill the tea today, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no! Like I have Sims running in the background, and like there's like 10 people just showed up to my house for no fucking reason.
Oh my God!
Why are they all here?
I would love to make a Sims game that's like Scream, and one of them's the killer. You have to figure out which one it is. Which one's Ghostface? Anyway, there's a point to this whole Southern Texas weird accent and the talk of Texas. Before we get to that, housekeeper, can you please do the spiel?
If you like this podcast, make sure you follow and rate us on whatever site you listen to your podcast. Share with your friends. New episodes get uploaded every Saturday. Links are down in the description for other podcasts that are part of the Neonic family. Follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @Spookocalypse. That's @SPOOK. We do spooky shit. We also have a YouTube. If you are from YouTube, hi, hello, welcome. Make sure you check out our other shows which are on the channel. We have Book Watchers, Voidonica, and Tea of the Gods. Whenever those will be posted, I'm not too sure. Now we're gonna go on to the discussion, and Mints will be on the pillow.
And today's mint is meat. Fresh butchered meat.
Yeah.
I know, right, Chris? So, the movie that we are talking about today is continuing on the theme of the Massacre May. Now, my accent fucking changed. I don't know what the fuck that is. So we're talking about Massacre May. So the movie we're talking about today is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Massacre. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm done with it. I'm not doing this whole episode. Everyone's gonna hate me if I do it the whole episode. This weird fucking, I don't even know what kind of fucking accent that was. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it came out October 11th, 1974. It is a film directed by Toby Hopper, written by Toby Hopper and Kim Henkel. I hope I pronounced that last name right. Production company is Vortex. Distributing is Branston Distributing Company. 83 minutes long. The budget for it was $80,000 to $140,000, and it made $30.9 million worldwide. This is a well, back in the day, this movie was very controversial for being very graphic. At the time, anyway. Compared to now, it's like a cakewalk, but back then it was like horrendous. It was banned in some places. Controversial because when it comes to the treatment of animals, and apparently this is the ultimate pro-vegetarian film, as they call it. If you want to make somebody a vegetarian, you show them this movie, apparently.
Oh.
Because of its animal rights themes, and the way they just butcher, I guess. I'm like, I could see it. Because apparently, Guillermo del Toro became vegetarian for a time after seeing this movie. Apparently. Okay. Cool. The quote, so there's a quote from the director. It's a film about meat. I mean, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
It also has commentary on, well, you know what? We'll get to Bunyip with the themes later, because there's a lot of themes going on in this. That's Bunyip's gig. Did you get any of those themes, Bunyip?
If I look at a couple of references, maybe.
Well, okay. We'll get to that at the end of the film. What was I going to say? Yeah, this film was very grotesque at the time. This is part of the subgenre, the grindhouse film movement back in the day. This is considered a grindhouse film, along with like the Last House on the Left and films of that nature, where it's like ultra violence and stuff. Well, yes, it's considered that, but watching the movie, I'm like, that's a lie. There are some parts I'm like, okay, that's a little grotesque. It's a lot. For a movie back in the 70s, it does have some violence, like hooks
Some?
and
Some?
Okay, a lot of violence, a lot of hammers crushing into skulls. There's a lot of that in this movie. And a lot of like characters that are, well, the whole idea is that they're all like inbred. Watch Leatherface, the prequel. It's great. Great. So this movie stars Marlene Burns. I'm trying to think of anyone who's like big outside of like Marlene or Miss Burns. Got Alan. You got Paul A. I'm trying to think. Is there anybody that's big in this movie? It's like I should say not big, but like well known outside of like the horror community. I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, I don't think so. Outside of maybe Burns. Let's see. Apparently, also fun fact: this movie was supposed to be
John LaRoquette, who was the narrator. He's
that's right.
He was one of the main characters in the original series of Night Court, and he is actually in the remake of that sitcom as well.
Oh,
He was also in Stripes.
that's right. That's right. You're right. Did you know that this film was supposed to be
John Duggan?
Duggan?
Oh yeah, he's in a lot of horror films. Never mind. I was like, this guy's face looks familiar. He was a grandpa.
Yeah, he was a grandpa.
Yeah, but he's in a lot of horror movies.
He's also in that very bad movie, The Boogeyman. Don't watch that movie. It's not good. Did you know this movie was supposed to be PG? Or the director wanted it to be PG?
How the fuck were they gonna do that?
Limit the gore. And I'm like, girl, where? It would have been rated R regardless. PG, girl, where? From what I'm reading here, Hopper limited the quantity of on-screen gore in hopes for securing a PG rating. But the Motion Picture Association of America, the MPAA, rated it R. The film faced similar difficulties internationally, being banned in several countries and numerous theaters stopped showing the film in response to complaints about its violence. Again, it's more so of the time. Well, you two seen a lot of horror movies, especially from this podcast in your own everyday lives. Would you say this film is more violent or just as violent as films today, horror films today? Comparing
today,
yeah, like if this movie compared to horror films that come out today, would you say it's just as violent, or less violent?
get to the latest like violent horror movie that I watched, and that was with you, and it was the new Evil Dead.
Oh yes, that movie is very violent.
And that movie is very violent compared to like dude, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a fucking cakewalk compared to this new one. And like it's not bad violence where you're like
no,
no, but like
people get fucked up.
People get fucked up. I was like, holy hell. It wasn't bad at all.
And children get fucked up.
I mean, technically, these were teenagers, so technically they're children too.
Well, there was one child,
like an actual child. Like
there was one child in the hallway.
Not spoiling the whole movie for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, but a child does die. So I was just like, I think compared to today, and then if you compare it to like the Saw movies too,
Oh,
Like,
that's
I
true. That's
feel like
true.
today's movies are or like this generation of movies um are extremely more violent if you're looking at certain scary movies, because there are some scary movies that aren't that violent. They're more psychological, they just fuck with your mind,
Yeah.
like Hereditary is not as violent as, like, let's say Saw. I mean, there's still like a very gory part in the fucking piano wire, bro, the piano wire.
Oh, the piano wire.
The piano wire.
But
I can't get over that scene. I'm just like, "Oh my Lord Jesus." But I think a lot of the gory stuff happens off screen for Texas Chainsaw. Like,
yeah,
even, like, the hook was, so, things were placed just right in front of the camera to where you didn't see the hook actually go through the body.
and
And
I
my
think it
ass
just
who
makes
plays
it worse.
and, like, my ass who plays, like, Dead by Daylight, who, like, you see the characters, like, get hooked, you're like, "Wha" but I
I
wanted
know.
to see
Yeah.
it. Like, they took Bubba out of the goddamn game, like, let me see this shit.
Yeah. Cause like, I don't know. In my opinion, I think the gore factor of this movie, the fact that they he limited the gore and tried to get a PG rating,
Mhm.
I think that made it worse.
I mean, whenever you leave the stuff to the audience imagination, like,
Yeah. I think
it
it
can
made it worse because you
go
didn't
so
have
far.
to see the hook go into her back. But my God, you can just sense that it just caught up in her rib and her rib is holding her up. Ugh.
Was there even a sound effect of her, like, getting, like
No, I don't know. There wasn't because I just finished watching it. I don't think there was.
I mean,
But
like,
was
I
it the
watched
initial
it
act of
straight
just her putting on the hook? You're just like, oh,
through.
oh.
Yeah.
So I think honestly, the gore is what not having the gore is what did the director in on having the rated R rating. Because he might have gotten like a PG-13 rating, but the way that it was shot, as you put it, with like the not as much gore, it made it worse. It made the violence, in my opinion,
So
worse.
technically, it wasn't the stuff off screen, it was the audience's imagination is what made it rated R. So, like,
That's what my guess is.
the people who rated it, like, it's y'all's, y'all's imagination is what put it that way in the first place.
Probably. Because I mean, it's a violent movie, regardless if they actually show any gore or not. But in my opinion, the fact that they showing less is showing more as far as the violence and the gore goes.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think it
like,
made it worse. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, the role of less is more, it fits really well with this movie, so. Oh, yeah, puppies. My dog came to visit. Hello.
Bunyip, any opinions?
Yeah, I'd say horror movies today are definitely more gory. Like,
Mhm.
like many of them maybe took inspiration from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but instead of like letting our imagination do the work, like, oh my god, that must have really hurt. They're like, let's show you how much it really hurt, and then you're like, that looks a
I
little
feel like
fake.
we've become desensitized to it, though.
I mean,
To be
after
fair, growing up with a video of a man getting shot in the street, a real man getting shot in the street, I think horror movies, like,
or the fact of like showing the war scenes during the Vietnam War.
oh, not just that. I mean, like, not even the Vietnam War. Like, whenever they went to Iraq, whenever, like,
Yes,
anytime
but I
that
mean,
they,
but the
yeah,
Vietnam War was the first war that was broadcasted like that,
yeah,
and then
exactly.
everything else kind of paid
I'm
continued
just,
on after
yeah,
each war.
but I'm just talking about like our generation in general. Like, we're the ones who grew up with the Iraq War. We're the ones who saw a video of a man getting shot in the street, like, floating all over MySpace and YouTube,
Yeah,
and then, eventually Facebook before it got taken down. But, like, we saw it happen. Like, I remember being so emotionally distraught whenever I saw that for the
and
first
all
time
the
ever.
and all those cartel videos.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, so, like,
I
you
still can't unsee the
growing up,
beheading one. I can't.
growing up watching real life violence happen, like, and it's broadcasted on the internet, like, I feel like they've had to kind of up the ante when it comes to horror films because we are so desensitized by it by this
Are we
point.
all psychopaths?
Yes. Yes, we are. Bitch, what the hell did I tell you about us watching horror movies as a trauma response?
Oh no, we don't need. You don't need to be coming for me. I made this. You don't need to tell me it's a trauma response. God damn it! God damn it, housekeeper! Not this again.
I felt called out. I was like, wait.
For those of you who don't know, housekeeper, please because I don't know if you did that said it on the podcast, so please reiterate what you were just what you mentioned.
Did, but I'll say it again. So, but I know I talked about it at your boyfriend's house too.
Yeah.
But so watching horror movies is a trauma response because your body is so used to being in a panic mode that whenever it's not in a panic mode, you're not used to it. So you search for horror movies as a comfort because your body is used to being in that kind of panic mode.
Yeah.
And I'm all like,
God, that's why psychological horror is so awesome to me.
It's like, oh, that's why I like psychological horror, because I grew up with a manipulator. Oh no.
I was like, I feel calm and relaxed. Wait, why do I feel calm and relaxed? I need to watch something.
Oh my God. Why is literally the first thing I think of? I'm gonna go watch a movie. I'm gonna go watch The Grudge.
Oh God, I can't do The Grudge. No, see, it's not even the horror. Like my comfort, whenever I'm sad or depressed, I go watch Full Metal Alchemist. So that should say a lot about me.
Daddy issues. Sorry. I'm sorry that I added every fan of Full Metal Alchemist as the Daddy Issues anime, but I mean, it is.
If they go to Full Metal Alchemist as a comfort anime, you would think Fruits Basket or Hold On High School Host Club.
No, it's the anime that fused a girl and her dog.
Fuck Shao Tucker, first of all, okay?
Yeah, I did that. I went there.
We don't talk about Nita and Alexander. No, and then literally the very first character that I fall in love with, happens to be a dad, and then he dies. So I was just like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Hi, welcome to Spookocalypse. We're all suffering with trauma on some level, shape, and level. So hi, welcome. You're with company. If you like horror films, what kind of childhood did you have? If you watch horror films, what kind? Because every person I know that watches horror films. That's I need to say that.
Who introduced you to horror films? Was it a parental figure? I just want to know.
Oh my God.
Because mine was.
Because most people that I know that watch horror films had some type of trauma in their life. And people that had perfectly good lives, for the most part, don't watch horror films. And that kind of says something.
I mean, I have an ex. I'm not going to name names because I have multiple ones. So if anybody does listen to it who is an ex of mine, you can figure it out for yourself. But I had an ex who he refuses to watch scary movies. Now, mind you, he's had a very traumatic life from what I know, because he's only told me so much, but I know enough. And he refuses to watch horror movies. Period. It's I guess the horror movies trigger him in a way, but he has so much trauma in his life that he cannot he cannot watch scary movies. So the X amount of years that I was with him was I fucking hated it. Because I loved horror movies back in I loved horror movies since I was in high school, and the fact that I dated someone for a while who did not like watching scary movies because they were just bitches. To be fair, I say that because I hate him, but to be fair, he did have a very traumatic childhood, so I understand it perfectly. Now that I'm adult, and I'm not going to put my bias against him because of that.
Yeah.
It's because he had a very bad childhood.
But yes, horror movies, violence,
murder, manipulation,
indigestion, what?
Diarrhea, Pepto-Bismol.
Don't come sue us, Pepto-Bismol, please.
Not sponsored. Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. I mean,
But
after you
I
see,
mean,
I
if you want
mean,
to sponsor,
if you're grotesque by human flesh and meat, and you feel like your stomach is getting sick, then Pepto.
Pepto Bismol's right for you. They have liquid and chewables,
Oh
whichever
my
one you
god, we're not sponsored. I
handle.
promise, we're not
Not
sponsored. Don't
sponsored.
sue us.
I mean, but at Pepto, if you want to.
I mean, the email's in the description. God, I hate ourselves. I hate myself. So to get on to this movie,
How much
I
of this is gonna
mean,
stay in?
huh?
I said, I wonder how much of this is going to stay in.
Probably a good chunk of it, if not all of it, because why not?
Why not?
We didn't say anyone's names. Now I could go in detail with this movie, honestly, but there's not a lot of substance in this movie, really. It's just like you see these kids, they're traveling through Texas. There's somebody stealing there's a grave robber stealing a bunch of bodies, and then they pick up a hitchhiker. He's a psycho, or he's off-putting and cuts himself, and they eventually kick him out, and then they go to this gas station because they're low in gas, and then they explore an empty house, and that's where shit gets real. That's basically it. There's nothing. It's like the first Slumber Party Massacre. You're just there to see those characters die. There's no substance to them, really.
To be honest, I've never seen the first one.
I have. It's okay. It's all right. But again, it's like this one. You see these characters, you meet them just to watch them die. You don't necessarily get an emotional connection with any of these characters, really. You're just there to watch them die.
I feel like it's like that for like House of a Thousand Corpses as well.
Yeah, it's like that for a lot of movies, especially ones back in the 70s and 80s.
You're like,
you just don't care about these kids.
You're like,
you just go and watch them die.
Now watch them die.
Yeah. So, as far as the characters go, you got 5 young people. Sally, Jerry, Kirk, and Sally's handicapped brother, Franklin. Those are the 5. This takes place in 1973, August.
Who's Pam then?
Pam. Did I forget Pam? Oh, I forgot Pam. Sorry, I forgot Pam. Pam too. Movie starts again. Someone's stealing graves. And what?
Stealing shit out of graves.
Yeah, stealing shit out of graves, body parts, whatever. And they eventually get to the grave. So they're like, "Oh, my great grandfather is buried here," and there's a whole that. They're like, "Oh, someone's taking body parts and shit." I'm like, "Oh no!" And then we jump to those 5 traveling through Texas. They stop at the cemetery, and then the group drives past a slaughterhouse, and there's this weird conversation about the slaughterhouse as Franklin mentions the family, the Hardesty? Is that how you say their last name? Hardesty? Yeah, the Hardesty family. And they have a history with like animal the slaughterhouse and shit. And then they pick up a hitchhiker who's off-putting, takes a photo of Franklin, like, "Oh, here you go. It's a good photo. Pay me $2." And they're like, "No." And then he attacks Franklin, cuts him up, kicks him out. They kick him out of the van after he cuts himself and cuts Franklin. And then they drive on, and then they're low on gas. Like, "Oh no, we're low on gas." And they go to the gas station. That's the famous gas station that is still up in Texas, in Bastrop, Texas, mind you. So if you're in the Texas area, go visit it.
It does sell barbecue, by the way.
It does sell barbecue, and it's not human remains.
It's
as far as we know.
As far as we know. I still want to eat the barbecue. I wish I had the
I
money.
know. Same. We need to go back to Bastrop.
We should.
Yeah, no, it was fun. The gas station itself is a horror shop with all a bunch of paraphernalia from horror films, action figures, shirts. Of course, the barbecue. You can rent a room because they have like little cabins in the back. So you can stay on site. It's pretty cool. Pretty lit. But the movie, they go to the gas station. Also, the van that they're driving is also at the gas station currently, so you can go see the original van.
Yep, it's parked out in the back.
Yep, it's parked out there. It looks pretty cool. They kept pretty good condition of it.
Mhm.
Kept it in good condition. Now from here, so they decide to explore the abandoned house, quote unquote, owned by the Hardesty family that they were talking about before with about the slaughterhouse. From there, Kurt and Pam go have sex because 70s and 80s horror films. They discover another house nearby running gas-powered generators and hoping to basically talk to whoever's living there into giving them gas. Then Kurt decides to enter the house, which I'm like, you're just gonna enter in someone's house? Like, that's rude.
But the house that's all ruined and shit, right?
No, this is the other house that's nearby.
Oh yeah.
This is not the abandoned house. This is the house that's close by. And then when Kurt enters the house, he's like, hello. And then you see a man wearing a mask made out of skin attacks Kurt and smashes his head in with a hammer.
Deserved.
I mean, in a
Breaking
court of
the
law, castle rules. Your castle rules. Like, he entered your home. It could have been violent. So I say that with the guy holding a hammer and he slaughters people, but you're entering someone's home. House finds that the living room is covered in human and animal bones, or she presumes to be animal bones. And then the man grabs her and puts her on a meat hook. Now, let me tell you, that meat hook is very uncomfy. That seems very uncomfy to watch. Not for the fact of like the gore, because you don't see any gore, but it's just the act of putting somebody on a hook, and you're like, how is it holding the person up? And then you come to the realization, oh, he tucked it underneath a bone, either the rib cage or like the shoulder, or
It would be in the ribs.
yeah, the ribs. Like, it's caught in the ribs, and you're like, oh, that's fucking gross, bro. Sucks to be you, Pam. Sucks to suck. And then he picks up a chainsaw as she watches Bubba, that is Leatherface's name. That's only addressed in the second one, though. It's not addressed necessarily in the first one, but his name is Bubba. Pam watches him cut Kurt's body into pieces with the chainsaw. And then we jump back to Jerry as he goes looking for Pam and Kirk. And then he enters the house, the other house as well. And you're just like, is everybody just going to go in this house? Finds Pam nearly dead in the freezer. And then, of course, Jerry gets bonked in the head with the hammer. So he's dead. Like, damn. Then there were two. So Jerry, Pam, Kurt are all dead. What's left is Sally and Franklin. So Sally and Franklin start going towards the house. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, that sounds smart, right? The masked man ambushes them and kills Frank with a chainsaw. Poor Frank. And the man, Leatherface, Bubba, then chases Sally into the house, where she finds a very old, presumably dead man and a woman's rotting corpse. Leatherface chases her back to the gas station and vanishes. It turns out the owner of the gas station is part of the family, so when she tries to get the whole 911 or leave, he subdues her and takes her back to the house. And then the hitchhiker appears. Come to find out the hitchhiker's part of the family as well. Lo and behold. Oh. Then. So. From there, Leatherface appears again dressed in women's clothing. He identifies the masked man and the hitchhiker they're brothers, and the masked man is known as Leatherface, the iconic name.
Mm-hmm.
And two brothers call the old man Grandpa. And down the stairs, and they bring the old man down the stairs, and they cut Sally's finger, and he sucks the blood out of her finger, the old man. And I'm like, that's disgusting. But they're cannibals, so what do you expect? Right? The next morning, Sally regains consciousness. She awakens from her slumber because she passed the fuck out. Which, I mean, she's gonna be traumatized for the rest of her damn life. And
that's a trauma response too, though.
Yeah, she faints. So when she wakes up, the man taunts her and tries to kill her with the hammer. They try to include their grandpa into the activity, but his grip was weak. He couldn't grip it. He was losing his grip. What?
He kept on dropping it.
Yeah, he kept on dropping it. And then Sally's like, fuck this shit. So she leaves and runs out into the road in front of the house, pursued by the brothers. An oncoming truck is it really accidental? Runs over the hitchhiker, the brother. I mean, he had it coming. Cue the meme. He only had himself to blame. If you would have been there, you would have seen it. Wow. Just crickets.
No, I heard it. I just didn't want your ego to grow anymore.
Wow. Okay, I remember that. It's fine. So yeah, a homeboy hitchhiker gets ran the fuck over, and the truck driver gets attacked by Leatherface with a he gets attacked by Leatherface. They run out the other side of the door because they go into the front to the driver's side and they exit the passenger side as the guy grabs a big wrench and he hits Leatherface with it. And he escapes on foot. Sally's covered in blood at this point, flags down a passing pickup truck and climbs into the bed, escaping Leatherface like last minute. And it drives away as she's laughing and crying maniacally. Like she's kind of losing her mind at this moment. And then it ends with Leatherface flailing around the chainsaw in frustration as the sun rises. And that's the end of the movie. And you come to wonder what happened to that truck driver. He probably died. They probably caught him at some point. Or he got away. Who knows? That's the end of the movie. It's pretty simple, to the point. They all die, except for Sally. Because an old man couldn't grip it. Wow. So quiet.
We're listening to you. We're letting you explain it.
We're letting you live.
Oh,
you're letting
you're
the final girl.
Oh. But yes, that is the end of the film of the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There are several films that come after it. There is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Next Generation, remake in 2023. No, remake in 2003. Then they had a prequel to the remake called Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Beginning. Then they had a sequel to the was it the original or remake? It's a direct sequel to the original one called Texas Chainsaw 3D. That one's really good. Then they made a prequel to the original one called Leatherface. That one's also really good. It's an origin of Bubba. And then they had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2022, which is another direct sequel to the original that ignores everything else. This one was okay.
Was okay.
It wasn't that great. The last sequel to the original was better. I didn't hate this one like a lot of people did, really. I mean, it was okay, but it's not it's weird. It's a weirder one. But it's there. It's on Netflix.
Oh, I didn't even watch it on Netflix. I watched it on Tubi.
No, the 2022 one.
Oh, I
That
haven't
one's
even watched that one.
Yeah, the 2022 one's only on Netflix.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a Netflix original. And yeah, symbolism. Any symbolism you caught on yet?
Just give me a moment.
Putting him on the spot.
Well, to be honest, I was not able to watch it today. So it's not quite fresh in memory, but I do remember quite a bit. That being said, it does seem to be like, isn't it funny how we kill animals and then the murderers kill the people? It's like, isn't it funny how I kill you?
It's hilarious.
But yeah, it seems to be about how we mindlessly consume things as one of the main themes. Sort of like we're like, hey, where does the meat come from? Oh, it comes from slaughterhouses, and you're like, you never see the cows get murdered for you to have a steak or a hamburger. It's like, yeah, but those foods are so delicious.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to separate the consumer from the production process. Otherwise, we might have concerns. And it kind of strangely reminded me of it was a paper written in the 50s. I think it's called The Jungle, and it was about the sanitation conditions of meat production places.
Mm-hmm.
And the inhumane treatment of animals. So it's like, okay, we gotta like revamp everything because there is disgusting things on the floor and no one's sweeping it up.
Yeah.
What I also noticed like how the family treats each other. Like I think who's the oldest one? Like how they're just cruel to Leatherface himself.
There is the. Are you talking about the oldest sibling, or are you talking about the old man? Not the grandfather, the one that worked at the gas station.
I'm thinking maybe I'm thinking the oldest sibling, but it was just like this family dynamic of I'm the oldest or I'm the one in charge. Just do what I say, and they don't think about listening to feelings. Just obey orders, and those people are annoying.
Well, they're also, out of context clues. Seems like they're all inbred.
Yeah.
So, and they live out in the middle of nowhere, where the only human contact that they have is anybody who drives their direction.
Oh, and the Hardesty family, my bad. I got that mixed up for a sec. The Hardesty family was Sally and Franklin's family. So we were given a back history on how their family has the correlation with the slaughterhouse.
Mm.
All right.
I'm not excusing their, things, but whenever they are all not neurotypical. I'm not saying that neurodivergent people are fucking like this, but they are 100% not neurotypical. They're not really right in the head. So they're going to treat someone who's 100% dumber than them
Yeah.
worse because they think that they are superior.
Yes, and Leatherface kind of gives context on why Leatherface, aka Bubba, why he acts the way he does. So Leatherface kind of gives some context to that. When Leatherface is younger and becomes Leatherface. It's really good. I should watch it.
Yeah, and you mentioned like the only contact they have is pretty much with each other and people who pass by.
Yup.
That would probably be a thing. Like, this is why community is important. Because if you're just stuck with the people you're living with and you have no one else around, it's gonna get boring.
Yeah.
And you're eventually gonna hate the people that you're living with. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this sounds like my life right now.
Hmm.
Whoops.
And
Quarantine.
oh God.
Quarantine made us lose all our people skills.
I never had people
If we
skills.
had them to begin with.
Did I
Introvert,
ever?
what?
Did I ever have people skills? Well, we shall never know.
I suppose the main moral lesson would probably be like, don't treat animals and or people like trash.
And don't eat meat.
But I like the meat.
Oh no, so do I.
I just ate chicken.
I had no, I can't say what I can't say that I had meat because I had plant-based fake beef. It's plant beef. So I can't say I had meat because I didn't. I had a vegetarian meal for dinner. How appropriate.
It's so funny.
That is actually
I
funny.
had a sloppy Joe.
Oh, that's the meaty. That's the meaty of
It's like,
meat.
here's meat, and then we'll drizzle it with more meat.
Meat. God damn. Any final thoughts before we get into the rating system of chainsaws?
You're just like, before we get to the rating system of chainsaws, I've already decided it. There's no contest about this one.
Chainsaws.
Even though there's only one kill with a chainsaw.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's
the
called
title is
Texas
Chainsaw
Chainsaw.
Massacre.
I know. It was just making a point.
But don't worry. In the other ones, he uses the chainsaw more often. Comes like an extension of his arm.
Oh my god. Like Ash.
Ew. Yeah.
That sounds kind of groovy. Anyway, I don't have any final thoughts.
That sounds kind of groovy.
God, fuck Ad. Fuck the. Oh God. Evil Dead is best. Fuck Army of Darkness. Trap. I could sit here and rant and rave why I don't like Army of Darkness compared to the other Evil Dead films. But that, you know what? We'll do an Army of Darkness episode someday and I can just rant and rave about that. I'll save for that. Since you bring up Ash. Yeah, this film is a classic. He's one of the original slashers. Along with like Michael and Jason and Burnt to a Crispy Bacon Freddy, you know? So the rating system. How many chainsaws do you give this movie?
How many chainsaws do I give this movie?
Yeah.
5 chainsaws, fully revved up, completely filled to the brim with gas, ready to go.
Really?
5 out of 5 chainsaws?
Oh, maybe. It's just been a while since I've actually seen it. So
Wait,
maybe
is our rating system out of 5 or out of 10? It's out of 5,
Out of
right?
5.
we always do it
It's
out
out
of
of 5.
I mean, at the very beginning, we probably did it out of 10, but we're doing it out of 5.
Out of 5. So how many chainsaws out of 5?
I suppose based on nostalgia, I'd have to go with 5. Because I really liked this movie.
Damn, work.
I would have to say maybe a 4.
Yeah, I was gonna give it a 4 as well. 4 chainsaws.
Or just because, like, yeah, there is like a hit of nostalgia, and like it was really cool that we got to go to like the actual gas station itself. I want to go to the
Yes.
house next time.
Oh, the house that is in where's
That's
the
an
house
hour away
located?
from the gas station.
In Kingsland, Texas. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it was straight to the point, you know. I just God, I had the same feeling whenever I first watched this movie. I hate the ending. Like, I wish that the ending was just a little bit different. Like, not just, like her, like, and then him just like waving wildly.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
like he's free to express.
Oh yeah, no, like I don't hate it, but I'm just like, at least something to be desired for me. Still love it. I don't hate the movie whatsoever, and I'll watch it again and again and again. But it's just like, oh, it's the ending.
That is fair. So the final verdict is
It's a 4.3.
4.3 out of 5. But so wow, this episode's just
It was shorter than anticipated, and despite how much we like this movie, I don't know why.
I think it's because, again, it's straight to the point.
yeah. I mean, it's only an hour and 23 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, both these movies that we're going to be talking about when we're recording this are going to be under an hour and a half. So movies back then were more likely to be under an hour and a half, especially the horror genre. Unfortunately, we're not all horror films are going to be like Beau is Afraid and be over 3 hours. I have seen it once already. Unfortunately, I've already seen it once, but I do want to see it again with the A24 crew.
Yeah, like excuse me, sir. Like that's supposed to be our tradition, and you went. And
I know. I couldn't wait.
Us.
This one, I couldn't wait. I'm sorry. Okay, it was freaking the guy who did Hereditary. Sue me. He's my favorite director. Sue
Sounds
me.
like you committed sacrilege of some sort.
I did.
He did.
Because not future note, for listeners and Bunyip, I would see all the A24 horror films with Housekeeper and Indigo. And this one, I'm like, I can wait. I can wait. I can wait. I can wait. I could do it. I can wait. I can wait. I can wait. Yeah, I can wait. And then boyfriend's like, hey, you want to see Beau's Afraid? And I'm like, I twitch.
You should have been like, babe. You should have been like, babe, I love you, but there's a tradition between Housekeeper and Indigo. Like, we gotta watch. If you want to watch it, you gotta wait for both of them too.
Sorry. I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it.
Because that's what I would have done if Z and Anthony asked me if I could watch an A24 movie. I would have been like, I have to wait for my two besties because I cannot watch this without them.
I'm sorry. I had a weak moment. I could have lied and said, no, I didn't. I could have lied, but I didn't want to lie. So, but yes, I did see it. I did see it, but I do want to see it again because that movie was weird and I need to watch it again to be like, okay, did I like it? I don't even know if is it even still in theaters? 'Cause it's been out for a while now.
Oh yeah, it came out last month.
Yeah. And it wasn't even in a lot of theaters anyway, either. It was only at like 2 or 3 theaters. It's only at one theater right now in this city.
Where?
Ammo Draft House.
Oh, bet. I'll go to a draft house.
Yep, it's only there. And then, yeah, it's been out for about a month.
I like how you say in the city, and then you'd say like the one thing that the city is known for.
Alamo Draft House is in other cities. It's all over the place, not just here. They have some in New York, so we could be anywhere. They're Austin, Houston, Dallas. That doesn't give any indication, but thanks for pointing that out. You gave it away.
Oops.
Oopsie. No, but unfortunately, this movie did not get a wide release for whatever reason. Anyway, sidetracked. Thank you guys for listening to today's episode. Catch us next time as we continue on this journey into films that have the name Massacre in them. You know what we should do for a month? Watch A24 films. That we haven't watched yet.
Just rewatch some.
Wait, is there enough horror films for that?
There's some. I mean,
Because
there's
we've watched
at least 4.
Because we've already done Hereditary, but I think that's the only one. We need to do Lamb.
No.
We need to watch Lamb, Midsummer.
No.
Lamb,
no. Midsummer, I haven't watched
Men.
Midsummer, yes.
I'm not watching Men again.
Midsummer, Men, Lamb, and Beau is Afraid when that comes out.
I am not watching Midsummer. I'm sorry, not Midsummer, Men. I'm not watching that.
I liked Men. I liked it a lot. It's so weird. Oh my god, we should do an episode on something strange. The strange thing about the Johnsons. Oh god, never mind. That one's fucked up. But anyway, so yeah, join us next time as we continue the Massacre theme throughout the month of May. Yay! So until then, bye.
Goodbye.